In this episode of Backer Breaks It Down, we take a look at defined terms in geometry. So we're actually going to use our undefined terms, point, line, and or plane to define future terms, starting with line segment. So a line segment, very similar to a line, is made up of points and is straight. Different from the line is a segment has a definite beginning and end. And this beginning and end are called endpoints. And we name segments in terms of its two endpoints. So the segment on the right side of the screen, I can call it RS or SR. Notice I am using a mini segment above those two letters to indicate that I'm talking about a segment. Notation is very important in geometry. Rays are also made up of points and are straight. A ray, imagine if like a line and a segment met, fell in love, got married, and had a baby. That baby would be a ray because the ray begins at an endpoint and extends infinitely far in only one direction. That's where the part segment and part line come from. A ray is named with the endpoint first, and any other point on the ray is given second. So the order of our two letters when we name rays is very important, because if we switch them up, we're talking about a different ray altogether, and that's best illustrated here. Ray AB, that's the top ray. It starts at the endpoint A and extends infinitely far in the direction of B, whereas the one below it is ray BA. It starts at the endpoint B and extends infinitely far in the direction of A. Now, this ray up here, there are two possible names for this entire ray. I can name it ray CD because I'm saying it's starting at endpoint C and it's extending infinitely far through D in that direction. Or I can call it ray CE because it's starting at the endpoint C and extending in the direction of B for an infinite length there, okay? So rays, I'm still using 2 points. The first point must be the endpoint. The second point can be any other point on that ray. And I'm also, once again, using proper symbolic notation. A little mini ray above my two letters. Angles. Angles are formed by two rays. These are the sides of the angle, and they share a common endpoint called the vertex. We can never name an angle in a way that could result in confusion. The safest way to name an angle is with 3 letters with the vertex in the middle. And the example here kind of illustrates that. Because when you look at this diagram, there are 3 different angles there. So I can't just say angle M, because which of the 3 angles am I talking about? So I need to give it a 3-letter name, the vertex in the middle. So angle JMK is this angle right here. It's clear which angle I'm talking about. M is the vertex, so it's in the middle. They have the angle KML. So that's this angle, KML. Now notice they offer a second name for this angle. They say it's angle LMK, and that's all right, because I'm still talking about the same angle. And then the third angle in this diagram is angle JML, and that's like the whole big angle. Right. So you have to be careful with angles because we never want to name an angle in any way that would result in confusion. Now, this angle at the top, I'm going back to it. I could safely call this angle angle A. When you use a single letter, it has to be the vertex. But notice, like in this diagram here, when I say angle A, there's no confusion. Whereas in the lighthouse diagram, when I said angle M, it's like, well, which angle are you talking about? So there are a couple of ways to name angles. You just need to be careful. Sometimes in our diagrams, we will see a little number written near the vertex of the angle. And if it's not a measurement, we can use it to name the angle, and that's what they're talking about here. So they're saying we can call this angle angle 3. And so that's how I'd write it, angle 3. Now the angle right next to it, I can safely call it angle A because there's only one angle A there. Or I can call it angle BAC or angle CAB. Vertex is always in the middle. The third angle goes by angle D. And that fourth angle diagram has a lot going on. Now I can call this angle here easily angle 1 because I have that little number near the vertex. I can call the angle adjacent to it, adjacent meaning next to, I can call this angle right here angle 2 because that number is provided for me right near the vertex. Or I can safely give that green angle a 3-letter name. I could call it angle YOR or angle YOX or angle XOY, so long as O is in the middle because it's the vertex. But notice, and I'm just going to scroll down, same diagram. If I said angle O, which angle am I talking about? There are 3 angles with the vertex of O. So that's why I usually say that the safest way to name an angle is using 3 letters. And those are the first defined terms in geometry, with many more to come.